Yes, hello, hello. Welcome to Florida, everybody. Welcome to the Green Cove Springs, Clay County Jail. Welcome to Good South Lake.
Yeah!
Man, this is like the smallest I've seen in here. Hey, turn that on just a touch. There it is, yeah. There's like 16 or something people that are not even here yet. So I don't know if they're in traffic or they just don't want to show up or I don't know. But hey, smaller groups. It's going to be fun for us tonight, so this is going to be fun. Thanks for coming out. I'm Chad Lauren. I'm president of Host of Ghost Town Weekends, and I know a bunch. Everybody basically has been here before, except who's new? One guy. Yeah, it was like, no, we got a couple. But y'all been here. You kind of told them about everything, but nobody 100% knew, right? No. Oh yeah, you. Where are you from? Oh, you're right here. Okay, so it gets too scary. You can take off early. Thanks for coming out. Welcome to the family. So this is going to be fun. A new convert. You're like, hey, yeah. Give it up, hey! But it is. It's fun here because a lot of the people, like Gina, comes to probably every event that we do. Dennis has been to a million. So many familiar faces. It's like a big reunion. You guys, we had, oh my God, we partied New Year's at the Thomas house. And, oh wow, it was a blast. So we had a good time there. And, so anyways, it's good that like a lot of people, you see everybody out in the yard out there taking pictures with each other. They haven't seen each other since the last event and stuff, and everybody's like-minded looking for the same thing. And so we're going to have a fun time here tonight. So it's still a little light out. We're going to do a Q&A with Mike and Chris, and then we got, hey, look at all this fun stuff. We got serial killer exhibits, we got ancient artifacts, we got Jamie over here, the author of all these haunted, wonderful books. And, And I can't believe that it's been, I think 11 years this year coming here that we met. And this has been just a fun place to come to. We brought Amy from Ghost Hunters, Amy Bruni, and she came here. She liked this location so much that came back and filmed an episode of Ghost Hunters here. And then we just kept coming back because we just like it. And it's just a fun location. And we seem to always get something. It's not as active as some of the other places, but it just seems like a lot of the times we'll hear some things in some spots, and then people will hear things later. They'll go back through their evidence, and then I just get bombarded with, oh my God, I got this in the jail. Oh, I'm going to play one. He sent me an EVP that you got. I'm going to just have you explain the whole thing, and we'll just play it. He got a really good EVP over at the jail. And then we're going to have the museum open this evening. For you guys up here last year, we didn't get to go in the museum, so we're going to be able to go in there tonight. So that's going to be a hot spot. And he told me about cell number 3 over at the jail. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be the same area that you caught your EVP over there. But that he went through the records and he found out that there was a suicide in that cell. So maybe that has something to do with it. And it was a woman. So that's kind of curious. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the other EVPs that we got. So I don't know. We'll check it out. But anyway, so how the evening's going to go, we're going to do a Q&A. We're going to have Mike and Chris up here. We'll do a little break after that. And then I'm going to have Kyle talk. Where is he? Demonologist Kyle. Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he's going to talk a little bit about demonology and haunted stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what he's going to talk about, so it's a surprise to me, too. So, and then Jamie, of course, ladies and gentlemen. So this is great. So we're going to have a good time. We're going to break into small groups. We're going to ghost hunt all over the place here. And then we'll do a group experiment in here at the end of the night to see, kind of compare notes and see what happens or what has happened with everybody. And then after that, we're free to kind of wander the grounds outside. We've got to close up in here around 12:30. But other than that, we can stay outside as long as we want, which is great. But I know you don't want to hear me talk. You're here to see Mike and Chris from Travel Channel's Haunted Towns, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stage. Keep going, guys. Keep going. Yay! There you go. All right. Give it up for these burly beefcakes. Yeah.
It's so hot here. You guys live in Florida? Everybody here?
It sucks.
It's like very, in this area, it's very, it's like a small, I don't know, sorry. I don't like the weather. But thank you guys so much for coming out. We love this place. This is, I think, like our 5th or 6th time that we've been here to the jail. Always good activity, a lot of good stuff, so we really appreciate you guys coming out. And we're going to have fun tonight. Everybody want your tongue tonight. for the older people, the younger people, and like the event.
Like Chad was saying, we were talking about earlier, what you give is, we believe. There's no facts in this field. We believe what you give is what you get. We like going in to investigation very lighthearted. We like to have fun. And the only way I can word it like we were in here twice, is we like to just be. We believe that you just be because you being you and you being you and all the way down. If there's 20-some people in here, that's 20-some unique pieces of equipment that you can use. Because we believe yourself is the best piece of equipment. But just be. It's like we don't have to go in there like a job interview. Why are you dead? Why are you here? It's like, let's just live and be happy. And it seems like a good, good spirits tonight. So it's like, to us, our belief is that's when you get the best activity, when you just be natural. And we've always had something here, so knock on wood, or tap on wood, because we've always had something like we talked Peru, that it's her first time ever doing this. And we're like, chairs aren't going to float across the room, because if they do, follow me out, I'm going to be the first one out of the room. But it's like, it's always subtle things, but we've always had something here. So let's, right? You've been here, I think, every time with us. Right? Almost every time.
Almost every time, yeah. These guys know. They know what we're all about.
Yeah. And it's a good time, and we've always had something happen, whether it's minute or something a little bit bigger, but hopefully tonight's the same thing.
Yeah, like Mike said, it's not going to be pea soup and spinning heads. I mean, that's Hollywood, right? I think that's what people have this misconception that everything has to be super scary and super dark. And honestly, we get the most activity when we keep it light. I mean, if you think about it, if you're stuck here or you're hanging around some of these haunted buildings, you're going to gravitate towards the people who are having a good time. You're not going to gravitate towards people who are doom and gloom and asking those same staple questions all the time. So keep that in mind. Not to say that you can't, because sometimes we do get activity that way. One story that I tell a lot about this place is I usually go to the jail. I think I'm going to do something different tonight. But one year, I was here investigating the jail, and we were getting a child. For whatever reason, it seemed like it was a little boy, little girl. We couldn't really decipher which one. But through the night, through readers and EVPs, found out that it was a little person, a little kid, that their parent worked here, and they stayed the night at the jail. So, I mean, you never know what you're going to get. You would never think that, like, an old jail would be communicating with a child. But that's what we were getting. So, I mean, that's another thing that we always try to do is respect whatever we're communicating with, because you never know what you're going to get. You can't always, provoke and act like an asshole to people that you don't know. I mean, you never know what you're communicating with. It could be a little kid, you never know. So, keep it light. Right, Mike?
Exactly, Chris.
Thank you, Mike.
No, I mean, using it because it's a jail, prisons and asylums we've been throughout, the country, literally. And it's like, you can't explain it. It's like you go into a building, it's natural to go, did you work here? Did you die here? Were you a prisoner here? What happened? This and that. But it's like, something was there before that building was built. No matter how old it is, something was there or on the ground. So it's like, also keep that in mind. So that's why it's when you just, again, I'm going to go back to just you be you. Don't go like, well, this is what Zach does on his show. This is what this one does on his show. It's like, do you. You investigate you. So besides Peru, anybody's first time ever doing any kind of ghost hunt? Right on. Really? He just built this equipment. This is crazy. You got to be involved in that. Well, right on. Because we say there's no experts in this field at all. And if it's your first time or your 10,000th time, it's always your first time. And for us, it's like this is a field you're always learning from each other, and we learn the most for us from first timers, second timers, because theoretically they think outside the box. It's like they do things their own way. They're not stuck in their own. We're stuck in our ways of doing things. So we learn from everybody, and hopefully you can learn something from us, but we're going to learn something from you, and especially Peru. She's not going to be quiet tonight. I don't know. Can you speak? Can you say hello? Yeah, she does speak. Okay. We didn't know. We thought she was tragically poor when I vocal cords. And we're going to learn from you tonight, too. So. Yes.
The worst thing that you can do for the first timers is not participate at all, because you never know who they're going to want to communicate with. It's not always us. It's usually the timid person in the room that doesn't want to talk. I can't tell you how many times that we've gone through groups and we're not getting anything, and that one person that's not saying anything, we finally get them to come out of their shell, and every light in the room goes off, we get EVPs, things start happening. So please, everybody participate tonight. That's the most important thing after safety.
Shout out to Gina McCann, like Chad did. Gina's been, what, since 2016, 15, 16?
16.
She's been putting up with us for a long time.
And she still comes around. See? You too can be a Gina McCann. If you try hard enough.
You guys have any questions for us before we get down to the fun stuff?
Yeah.
Don't ask later. Because there's always somebody when it's later and it's like the groups, it's dark out, the lights are out. And it's like, no, bro. Q&A. It doesn't matter what it's about. It doesn't have to be very technical, because we don't know technical. So if you're looking for a scientific answer, you're not going to get it.
All right.
So what's the scariest place you've been?
Literally, for real?
Yeah.
With
us.
With Ghost Hunt Weekends?
Yeah.
Probably open for me. I mean, Missouri State Penitentiary is, that place is amazing. Do we have any tickets left for that one? We're doing that one pretty soon.
I opened up some more because it almost completely sold out, and then they were able to give us another area that we can hunt in, and so we were able to add more tickets. So yeah,
It's
if you
gonna be a
want
tie.
Missouri State Penitentiary, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. And
It's going to be a tie between that and probably Thomas House for me when it comes to Ghost Hunt Weekends, because those two places, extremely haunted. We've had really good stuff as far as visual. You get really good EVP evidence there, but Missouri State Pen, you get shadow stuff. You can just look down the hallway for a little while and you'll see something. I mean, something's going to happen.
If I were to throw that on, that always made the top at least 3 is Titanic Museum. Who's been there to Titanic with us? I know you have. I know you have. You better raise that hand. You have. We were there with masks on. We were there in 2020. Was it 20 or 21?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so while we were there at a ghost
So
hunt,
they blurred his face out?
yeah, they blurred my face out. But no, it was an amazing capture. So it's like people ask that question a lot. I know you guys don't because you don't raise your hand and ask questions during your Q&A. But that's cool. But you can smile. No.
Yeah.
You mean mugging me? Don't mean mugging me. No, who's your? Yeah. She's mean.
I'm listening.
But a big question we get is, can you believe? Oh, all right. No.
I thought it was going on. Something was going on.
You gotta get real close
They
to
have
it,
it,
bro.
but the top question we get is, in spirits,
Like a lady.
there's people with cameras on right there. My mom's on social media, don't post that. But anyway, is people ask us, do you believe spirits can attach to objects? You can talk to Kyle about at least one, he told us about it up here. But for us, you go to Titanic Museum, whether it be Pigeon Forge or Branson, and if you're like us, you're gonna leave that place going, I believe so. Unless those 2 towns are very, very haunted, and there was something there before the museums, I'm gonna leave with yes, because we've had, super intelligent responses of names, of, I think the badassest one we got, if that's a word, is the Southampton EVP we got.
Yeah, that was cool.
And, but we posted stuff on our YouTube, you can hit that up and see, but you're gonna leave that yes, I do believe spirits can attach to objects. Why? I don't know. But it's like, you go to that place, yes. It's not scary, you can walk through it, and it's like, you're not gonna be scared, it's not eerie.
It's a little scary.
It's sad when you look at it, you can see names and faces and things like that, but yes, you will get activity there. So we're gonna be there again in August, so if you want to join us for that, Gina's gonna be there. No, Gina, that's about a 19-hour drive for you when you went there?
It was 11 hours up and 11 hours back. So
See, that's not a problem.
2 hours.
We just drove that yesterday. And you guys are in for a treat tonight too, because you got Kyle Cobb with us, you know, the guy that has all this cool stuff, but he is very knowledgeable about the paranormal. He's like Steve Gonzalez. Anybody ever met Steve from Ghost Hunters? If you talk to that guy, it's just like, whenever I'm talking to him, I have no idea what he's even saying. I'm like, he moved me. Because there's some people who are interested in the paranormal, they're very passionate about it, like myself, but then there are other people who really dive deep into the minutiae of it all, and they know all these things. And Kyle's one of those people, so I would urge you guys, if you're in a group with Kyle, ask him some questions and see what he says about different things in different places, because he knows a lot of stuff. We're pretty smart guys, but he's way smarter than us.
Well, okay, first
Can't you
timers, super smart. First timers, second, 1,000 timers. Again, though, one way to investigate, but it's like, for me, as an investigator, I don't want to say I don't care, like, it's a bad thing. The who's, when's, where, it's like, for me, I fall into more of the religious faith. I believe we're not meant to know, and we're not going to know, why is so-and-so here? How are they here? I believe we're not meant to know, so I don't go down that path. If you want to go down that path, that's fine, because I'll follow you, I'll watch, and I'll see what you get, but I believe we're not meant to know. So it's like, there's nothing wrong with the adrenaline investigator to get what you want to hear. I got something I know is badass, I'll go to the next one. And there's nothing wrong with a scientific investigator to invent things and to want to know the whys and hows and get into that. And it's like, those are the Steves and the Grant Wilsons of the world. We've done panels with Grant Wilson, and we're up there like, it's like, he's speaking, and it's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Brandon, we have no idea what he's talking about. Half goes over your head, the other half goes way over. And it's like, that's not me as an investigator. And I think it's great to have all different kinds, because it's like, you have the adrenaline investigators and the scientific ones. And when you come together, like a night like tonight, and it's like, that's when we're going to get something. And it seems like everybody's in real good spirits tonight. Nobody's mopey and, why am I here? I was drunk here. Except for Bruce, it was mean mugging the first half of the night.
I'm telling you, bro. Quit poking beer.
Oh, yes. You were saving it for later, but you're going to do it now.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that there's 2 locations of the Titanics. Do they take the artifacts from one location to another location?
Yeah, it's my understanding that they switch them out.
Yeah, they move them from Pigeon Forge to Branson, so they rotate the artifacts around. So we never really know what artifacts are there until like that week that we go. Like one time.
I know one in, I don't know if is it London or Liverpool, because there's one in England too. I'm sure that takes a little longer to ship things back and forth, but they do swap things around. But yeah.
There was one in Fort Lauderdale. There's one in Orlando.
Yeah, that's not the same owner. The lady who owns the one at Pigeon Forge, which is a half-size replica of the actual Titanic. It's built from the blueprints. She actually owns the rights, or I guess the copyright or whatever, of the staircase, the grand staircase. And she's like friends with Cameron and all that. She's co-producer of the movie and all that stuff. Here's a fun fact. The Titanic staircase on the movie, they had to make it larger because people were smaller back then. And if they built it to the right size, everybody was going to look like out of place on it. So they had to build on the movie set. It was built from the blueprints, but they made it about 10% bigger because people are larger now. And it would look weird if they didn't make the set larger.
Yeah, we just keep getting fatter.
I guess. It's all this
It's like-
good eating over here. There it is. Over there.
You go to the Octagon Mansion, we usually do that in Virginia, you look at all the soldiers' uniforms, and it's like, I could probably get my arm in one of those.
Oh, the shoulders are that wide.
Yeah. And it's just like, people were smaller back then, they didn't eat everything like we do now. It's like, I need a cheeseburger right now, I just got to eat it.
It's like, as she's telling you the story of Titanic, you could, what? They're bigger now? What do you mean? As you're dumping your cookie and ranch. Everything's better.
Did you have the same experience from one location to another? If they moved the artifacts around?
Experiences,
Is it just different?
yes, I'm not saying the same, but I mean, very direct, intelligent responses. Names, the Southampton one, that was in the Pigeon Forge.
Yeah.
But we had a name, I remember, it was in a Branson, this one was maybe 2 years ago. We got a name, and it's like, we didn't know the name, it was just the first name, whatever it was, kind of slipped to me now. But we went around the corner, and coincidence, maybe, but it's like that name was the guy who was on the wall, and it was like a wedding ring or a ring of a guy, and it had his name, and it's like, maybe, let's just say it was Richard, for whatever's sake, but it's like, you got the name Richard, and it was Richard something on the back wall that we saw, and it's like, so, I don't know. But anyway, we got stuff there. We got a knife that moved, we didn't see it, but the knife was under glass on a stand. It was like a butter knife, but it was something that was brought up from the bottom. And then at some point we turned the camera, we're looking around, and that knife was like not knocked off, like somebody picked it up and put it down. It was still in the same thing, but not on the
But
same.
in a case, it was
Underneath
a huge glass case, like there was no way to open it. I mean, it was locked. There was no way anybody could.
And you couldn't bump it. It's like it was. If you go, you will see that it's no way anybody gets it. And it was placed so neatly off. Everything's on these little stands, and it's the only thing that was on the stand, and then not on the stand. And then what's the you always get knocks on the door.
Oh, Grapes Pub.
Yeah.
Where all the people that worked on the ship, they built that and the Olympic. There was the two sister ships that were identical, and they all worked. When they would get off work, they would go to this Grapes Pub, which was right there where the docks were, and we knocked on the door, and freaking we heard somebody knock back, and then I went to the staff that worked there. I said, "Hey, what's behind this door? Like, is there employees? Is it like what is this?" They go, "There's nothing. It's a fake door. There was like nothing there." And then they showed me behind it, and it was just like a little area, literally like this far behind that door. There was really no way to open it. They showed me behind it, and we don't know where that knock came from. And then we set up a curtain, or not a curtain. We set a sheet up. And then the sheet moved because they couldn't turn the light off, and it was making the room too bright for us to ghost hunt. So we put like a dark curtain over it, and it ended up moving, which was really weird. And somebody got that on film. Man, I'll tell you all a funny story. I don't mean to interrupt, but when Chris, we got that loud scream on the deck in there, or on the bridge, I guess. I don't know. Did you guys see the Paranormal Caught on Camera episode where we did that? No? Okay. Man. So I ended up on that. So we did the event. It was Friday the 13th. We went to Titanic and Pigeon Forge. Chris and I were on the bridge, and we heard this scream, basically come out of the ceiling. We're like, "What the heck was that?" We were freaking out. I mean, it was like a woman screaming. And then we asked the people that work there, we go, "What's above us? Is there another deck, or are there people up there? Is there offices?" They go, "No, that's the ceiling. That's the roof. There's nothing above you but air conditioners and stuff like that. It's the roof." So anyway, I go on to the next room, and it was third class suite, and he was in there. So we're in there ghost hunting, and somehow, I don't remember what it was, but we were all freaking out about the doors, where they had the gates, where it was like a replica of the gates that they locked for third class, where the water was coming down the staircase, and the people were trapped in there. So it was kind of like a thing like that. We kept hearing stuff in that area. And I had my camera, and I'm kind of panning around, and I looked back behind Mike, and then I didn't even see it because it was all live streaming. And it's just like a ghostly figure walks out from behind Mike, and basically walks into a wall. And it looked like the woman on the ring, that wet ghost Japanese woman with the long hair. That's what it looked like. And it just kind of went into the wall. And I didn't even see it when it happened. I didn't see it with my eyes, but everybody kept writing online, "Oh, how did you see that? Who is that? Blah, blah." And I'm like, whatever, because in the middle of the stream, you don't pay attention to it because you're just worried about the ghost hunt. You can't read all the messages that are coming through. So later on, we looked at it, we're like, wow, that's something pretty crazy. So Nuke's Top 5 picked it up, and they did a big thing on it. I don't know if you guys watched that on YouTube. It got 5 million, it went viral. Everybody was watching. I had all these YouTubers messaging us, "Can we use the footage? Can we use the footage? We want to make a reaction video, So I'm like, okay, as long as you give us credit for it, don't make it look stupid, don't make it look like we're making it up or whatever, because it was live, there's nothing we can do. So then I'm sitting in my studio, and I was trying to edit some videos, and this guy calls. It's this British chap, and he's just like, "Hey," and I just thought it was another YouTuber, and he's like, "Hey, I'd love to use your footage," and blah, 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 blah. He's just going on and on. I'm trying to get I had a deadline. I'm trying to get all this footage done to get online. And I was getting like kind of ticked off with this dude, 'cause he didn't say who he was or anything. I go, look, dude, that's exactly how I said it. I go, who the fuck is this? I said, what do you want? And I said it just like that, because I thought it was another YouTuber. And he goes, it's Jack Osborne. And I go, oh, hey, man. He just wanted to use the footage for the turn. I didn't know that he produced Paranormal Pod on camera. I didn't know he was the producer of that. And then so he wanted the footage, and then he ended up blurring Mike's face out, but he didn't blur your face out. So for some reason, Chris isn't blurred out, but Mike is. So I don't know. I guess he's too pretty. I don't know.
Hey, I didn't even know it was on there, and then somebody at some point, they were like, oh, we love your show, thank you for watching, that kind of thing, and they said, whatever went through, Paranormal Pod, I was like, no, on the towns went through that, and it's like, no, you're on it, and then as we're talking about it, I think you're like, no, they used that clip of Titanic, and then people were like, they blurred your face out. I'm like, did they? Or was it just pixely? And I was like, no, they blurred your shit out.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it was like,
Well, it was during the middle of COVID. It was like right at the end of COVID, so I had to do a Skype interview instead of coming to the studio. And I forgot about it. I actually totally forgot about it. And then I got a check in the mail. And I was like, what is this? And you get those fake checks and it says, oh, deposit this, but send me the money back for something. You go buy something. And I thought it was some fake check. And I'm like, what is this? And I didn't know anything about it, and I had to Google it to find out what the company was, and it said Osborne Productions. I'm like, oh! I said, okay. I'm like, well, I don't even know. It was like 6 months later.
When
Then
you
all of a
get
sudden,
our check?
that's why they blurred his face out.
yeah, this is the first time we heard about it. Okay, now on TV side, unless you get permission, you sign a thing, or waiver, they can't show your face. And it's okay.
Yeah.
I would have been like, yes.
They didn't want to pay you, but they did show my face, so I need a check.
Like, I don't know.
I get half price for pictures.
Yeah.
Because the shadow figure, it's like, that was in my group. And if you watch that clip, it's amazing, because the entire group, like we're going to bring us tonight, we're all facing one direction, either reading something, looking at something, whatever it was, we're all facing, and it's like, this thing just goes and it stops by the wall and just stops.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's scary, because it's like, we're all looking.
How you doing? Thanks for us at all, yeah.
I mean, it goes to show, just tonight, it's like, if you're filming, if you're recording, and it's like, you might not see it. Here we got, whatever it was, 10 or 12 people in one area, we're all like, and it's like, this is going on behind us, and it's like, you just never know. And was it yours or Carpetbagger guys that got that footage?
Well, we both did. It was me that filmed it, because he was actually in the footage looking at that door.
So it's like, when you're filming randomly, and it's like, you might not see it in the moment, but you look later, and it's like, I would have never known unless.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't have. It was everybody online was re-watching it and kept sending us messages.
So to answer your question, Titanic and Missouri State men.
You're only allowed one question during your Q&A, because it goes down all the way.
But no, Nuke's Top 5, if anybody doesn't know about that, it's on YouTube, Nuke's Top 5. That's like my favorite thing to watch. I don't even watch really any cable shows anymore, but Nuke's Top 5 is a good one. If you guys just want to go in there and look at evidence, he's got a lot of really good videos. I've been watching it for years.
We're like all over the world.
Yeah.
It's just like weird stuff, yeah. But we're here tonight, and this place is
Hopping.
It is. We were outside. This happened 3 different times. I remember we were outside by the tree. I had wrong information, and I always thought that the gallows was there where they executed 6 different people here. The gallows, I thought, was by the tree over here. Well, when I looked at all the footage and I talked to Vichy, the director of the archives here, she said, no, they put the gallows over here, basically where the parking lot is now. And it was like a tent, like you think the carnival came to town. I mean, they had hot dog stands, they get ready to execute a guy, and they build this freaking gallows, and they're all out there like cheering it on, like they're in Rome or something, like getting ready to behead somebody or something. So, and there's a photo, if you go in there, you'll see, and it's like the whole city's just out here just like cheering it on or something,
And eating hot dogs.
and eating hot dogs, But I know it's horrible, I'm not laughing about it, but in one way it is kind of comical, but it's not. But so we were all standing out here, when we left these lights on, we had all the lights off, and And we saw somebody in this room walking around. Like you could see the shadow moving around. And I'm like, who's up there? Everybody's supposed to be in location. We don't have anybody up in here until like almost midnight. So nobody should be walking around here because we still have our merch out. We don't want anybody touching anything. So I came up, nobody's up here. The next event we came here, I'm outside for some reason. I don't think I had a group. I was just outside filming. And a police officer walks up. He had a beanie on. It was real close. It was January. And he's walking up and he goes, I was just seeing what's going on. I go, okay, cool. And I was like, and he goes, I ain't messing around this place at night because we get false alarms all the time and there's nobody here. Like motion detectors go off and stuff in here. And we're out there in the same spot and we see somebody walking around here again. And I said, dude, did you see that? And the cop was like, yeah. And I go, well, let's go check it out. And he goes, nope. And he got his car. He goes, y'all have a good night. He just gets his car and he's like, right. He goes, I had to come here alone. And I was like, I mean, it's fine, but I didn't see anybody. But that's happened about 4 different times up here. We like, I don't know, we see movement in here, just walking around, and we'll see it from outside. And it's always a lot of times when people are leaving the jail, look up this way, because it looks, I mean, and I think people probably see it, but they think that it's just other guests. You know what I'm saying? What was that?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Like a howl or like a scream or something? I don't know. Did you guys hear that? Okay,
Is it Clay County Road?
I guess. Anyways.
That's where it goes back to just be natural. I mean, not to keep going on, I know we want the night to start, but if you're at home or something, how many times you just, out of the corner of your eye, see something, you're like, I know I saw something. And you're not trying to investigate, you're not going in there with like, you know, all guns blazing, we're gonna get something tonight. You're not going hunting that way, but it's like, you're just natural at home, and you see something at the corner of your eye, or something moved, or something happened, you heard something, and it's just being natural. And it probably seems weird, except for, you know, first time or second time was doing it, it's like when we film our show, it's like you're in a location for a week, and it's like you just go hours and hours and hours through the night, through the day, day after day, and it's like here, I know we're doing it limited, but it might seem strange, but if you want to use our tactic, it's just be. And if we're talking to each other naturally, if we're recording, leave space in between your talking. It's like, today was a beautiful day, I know. Man, it's cold back at home. You know, leave space in between so when we play it back, we can see if we got something. But it's like, that's it. If you want to take our 2 cents on it, it's like, just be natural. Let's just talk, and if something funny happens, laugh. Don't whisper, just talk out loud like we're doing now. And it's like, that's our best piece. It's like, because everybody being their own self, their own way of investigating is going to be totally different. We don't need all the bells and whistles all the time.
Yeah, you guys are all batteries. Exert energy, laughter. We find that we get the best activity out of laughter, you know, levity, instead of doom and gloom. So don't be afraid to laugh and have a good time tonight. Not that we're all just going to sit around and laugh like a bunch of idiots, but, you know, don't be afraid to do that. Because you don't see that ever. You know, it's always scary. But most of the time, when we get the best evidence, it's out of everybody just being themselves and having some camaraderie and some chemistry, just having fun with it.
They know, she knows, not that that's the one way, but it is.
I have a question. What's the worst experience you've had?
Worst experience. And, like,
Investigating, like anywhere.
I don't think we've ever got that question.
the worst experience.
You had to check in a hotel late one time. That was.
Yeah, we had to share a room once. I'll never be the same.
I feel like the worst experience. Well, it's time for the Titanic Museum. Just totally cut everything else we said. Oh wow, worst experience. Never at. Shoot, that's good. Never at a location. Because we know it's like you can't turn ghosts on. You can't go and, oh yeah, this place is haunted. Is
Figure
it?
yourself.
And you- But it's like you can't make that happen. So it's like off night, on night. My belief on that, it's us that can't see it. But anyway, down that thing. But if there was a bad experience, was always outside of that part, like dealing with the living, is far more sucks than dealing with the dead. Right? The living stuff.
Yeah, but I think if If it had to be paranormal wise, I'd say it was the Cannon Memorial Hospital episode where Brandon kind of lost his mind. I don't know if anybody ever saw that one, but that kind of took me by surprise, just because I think we got a little too comfortable, and we forgot to, get prayed up. And, because sometimes, I mean, and this is the only time it's ever happened to me in like the last 10, 12 years that I've been doing this, is where you kind of have your guard down, and they can affect you sometimes. They can make you feel things. I don't think Brandon was possessed by any means, but I think whatever you come into the investigation with, like if you're angry, or you're happy, or you're sad, I think they feed off of that energy. Whatever energy you're putting out, I think that they use that, and then they can deflect it back to you. I think that's what happened to Brandon that night, unfortunately. And we kind of learned a lesson that night. It's like, all right, well, let's, keep our guard up just a little bit more. So if I had to say one, that's like the only one. And everybody's like, remember that time Brandon got possessed in that episode? I'm like, he wasn't possessed. He was mad. I mean, the producer pissed him off that night. He wasn't listening to his ideas. Brandon doesn't like that, but there was a lot of things. It was kind of like a domino effect. But I do think they can feed off of our energy, whether it's good or bad, so keep that in mind too.
On that, I won't say the locations or names, but it just reminds me, very recently, we went to a location, and somebody picked us up from the airport, and they were talking about another location, which I won't say because I don't want to. But anyway, where it's like, he's in the back seat, I'm riding shotgun, and this kid's driving. Nice dude, goes up, hey, nice to meet you, yeah, thanks for driving us, and this and that, and we're talking, and it's like, we weren't in the car like 2 minutes, and this guy just went into paranormal, and he asked about this other location. Have you guys ever been there? We're like, we haven't been yet, but we talked about it for a long time. And he's driving, we're tired and all that kind of stuff because it's late at night, long travel day, and he's like, I got possessed there. And he's driving, and I'm like, he's in the back seat. I kind of give him a side look, like, and then he goes, and this is no joke, he looks over, because I'm going to go, twice. And he's driving, and I'm like, and then he goes, but it only lasted like 10 minutes. And I didn't even feel like I'm possessed. I'm like, where the hell are we going? So it's like, those to me are the like, bro. And then he's texting me from the back seat like this fucking guy. And I'm like, I know. It's like, what do you do? And it's like, then you're looking at his GPS and it's like 90 minutes left. And it's like an hour, 15 minutes left. And you're seeing 15 minutes and 2 minutes left to location. It's like, get the hell out of this car. This guy is back. But it's
My back seat, my crucifix in the back of his head, like,
I look back, no, he's on his phone with headphones, and I'm like, you better get in this conversation. Because I gotta deal with this wackadoo by myself, and I'm like, I got possessed twice. It only lasted 10 minutes. Didn't even feel like have you ever been possessed? And I was like, no. It's like,
no. People like that, you gotta be like, oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. Now I'm like looking back at he's on his phone.
Just got possessed last night, what happens?
But those are the real things that happen, and you're like, oh my gosh. And it might have happened, not unless the guy did happen, but it's like, it was so nonchalant. Like, have you ever had frosted flakes? They are so good. It's like, that's how natural this guy said it. I was possessed. And it's no shit, because it's like, we didn't even comment, and he's like, twice. It's like, oh my gosh, okay. All right,
So, how's the weather? It's like after that, there's nowhere to go. So, any other questions?
I got one.
No.
Okay, I know you guys have been to Bobby Mackey's place and everything. So how big actually is that hole in the ground, and have you ever gotten the ground out of the bottom? That bit.
It's exactly 6 feet, 74 inches in diameter.
If you stand in it, you can go like this. It's a well.
It's a hole in the ground. Here's the thing about Bobby Mackey's. I feel like it's the Ouija board of paranormal locations. It's even worse. But it's one of those things, I feel like it's a misconception because of an episode that happened a long time ago. People think it's like evil or the portal to hell. We've never had any experience like that. It's very active. We've gotten people to communicate with us or whatever you want to call it, things to communicate with us, but never had anything malicious, malevolent. It's just been an active location. So, but people, when we talk about going to Bobby Mackey's, they're like, oh, good luck. We're never going there. It's like, why? Because you watched an episode episode, it's like people with Ouija boards. Why don't you want to use a Ouija board? Well, because Linda Blair in the 70s. It's like, I think that Bobby Mackey's is kind of like that. People have seen an episode of that, and they're like, oh, just because they think, they found the devil there, then they're scared of it. But that's never been our experience. It's just a hole in the ground.
Usually,
We'll get in there and take pictures.
twice. No, but it's like usually 9 times out of 10, if it's in person or online, when somebody writes something negative about it, like never go in there, be safe, you're crazy, this and that. And if you say, have you ever been there? The answer is no. And it's like you go there, it is a piss hole honky tonk. It's still, they still have bands and all that stuff every Friday and Saturday. Not saying that's a bad thing. I've been to many, many piss hole honky tonks, and that's what that place is. And I believe that activity is still from that. It's like every Friday and Saturday, it's happening.
Energy.
Music, good times, fights, whatever it be. And it's like, that day times, fights. Fights and murder, right? It's like that. Nothing like beating the hell out of somebody. And get some activity. But it's like, the place is always recharged. But we never got one straight answer from the place. It's like, it used to be a slaughterhouse. And somebody else went, no, the slaughterhouse was up the street. Oh, this woman was beheaded. No, she wasn't. That's just all fake. Well, this one, it's like, so we don't know. And like I said, I'm not saying it in a bad way, I don't care, but it's an active building. We've had activity, we've had some great EVPs, some scary EVPs, we've had pool cues come off the wall and hit people. It's like, well, that happened one time. One pool cue hit somebody, but we've seen shadow figures break laser grids, people caught it on camera. It's active. Why? I don't know. I don't care. That's where the science people go and figure out. So.
But it ain't the devil.
I don't think so. I think if it is, they're not going to come like, I'm the devil, I'm here. I think if the devil's going to come at you or something evil, it's going to come at you with something very comfortable, something very, something you're going to welcome. I think that's what it would be. The devil's not going to come back and, stay out. Because if that happened, we're going to be like, I'm not going in.
Sorry.
Blue shirt gentleman.
She's gonna kill you.
I know. Twice. I'm possessed. No. I love you.
All right, well, thank you guys again so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. It's one of our most favorite spots. We love it here. There's no doubt that we're going to get some sort of activity tonight, but we need everybody here. Everybody, if you're sitting in a pew, we need you tonight. Please don't be timid, don't be shy, participate, don't be afraid to ask questions, try new things, because we need every single person in this room. You never know who they're going to be attracted to or who they're going to gravitate to. So please, everybody participate.
It's not our show, it's not a Ghost Hunt Weekend show, it's our show tonight. So we all need
It's your rodeo, we're just clowns.
Nobody's on a bench tonight. Nobody's on a bench tonight, because that's the way to make it happen. If you don't open your mouth and nothing happens tonight to you, you can't say that place isn't on. It's like, you didn't. So we all judge you. No. Blue shirt judges you? All right, Chad Moore.
Chad Moore, go somewhere, guys.
Let's do it. Let's do a quick photo.
Okay.
Oh, it's late.
All right.
I'm double liking it here.
That's like the movies, right?
Yeah.
Who's that? Thank you. Mike.
Just make a comment, but I'll let you
You
go.
got it.
I think we lost them.
Well,
It's actually dark.
you can hold your
The
seats.
lights aren't on.
You
No, I know. I was like, I just noticed that. I was like, well, it's like super bright in here, but I actually kind of like. I don't even know how to turn. We should probably just turn the side ones on.
Yeah, maybe it's by the switch. Something. Yeah.
Switch over. Oh, hey! Well, let's do this because we'll take a break right after this. I know everybody's probably got to pee or something, but squeeze in a little bit here. Let's do a big group photo. We'll take a little break. We'll have Kyle come up and talk a little bit. We'll sell some more merch. I know y'all didn't get a shirt, so that was. But yeah, everybody get in. We'll get a group photo. We'll put that online. Well, let's take a little